Bluetooth and smart connectivity features are built into a lot of products today, and this toothbrush is no exception. Designed for children, I've been putting this through its paces and I'm here to give you my feedback on it. Having spent several weeks testing the Oral-B Junior Smart, what do I ultimately think of it? Well, I'm going to jump right into my verdict and say that this is a very good electric toothbrush. It's very capable, it provides a good level of clean, it's got lots of features, many of which are very desirable features that I'd like to see in more electric toothbrushes. However, I can't help but think that maybe this is a little bit too feature rich for the target market, but perhaps nicer to have them than not at all. You'll have to make your own decision based on the additional information I provide in this hands-on review. Now, I must note that there is a full written review that accompanies this video. Check the link in the description. But now I'm going to go through and give you some of the pros, some of the cons, and dig into the details a little bit more. So the pros then, we've got a lovely slim handled toothbrush that feels good in hand. We've got a built-in rechargeable battery that gives around about 2 weeks of battery life, which is nice to see. We've got a pressure sensor on the brush handle to alert you if you're brushing too hard. We've got a built-in timer and pacer to encourage the dentist's recommended 2 minutes of brushing. And there's also Bluetooth connectivity to transfer data back to an app and encourage better oral healthcare routines. Some of the negatives are that this brush actually has multiple cleaning modes, which is perhaps a little unnecessary for children. In fact, you don't necessarily need multiple cleaning modes for an adult toothbrush either. There's no easy way to tell which mode you actually have selected on the brush handle if you are using one of the additional modes. There's no dedicated cleaning mode button. You can't actually select between the different cleaning modes with a separate button. You have to use this power button here to cycle through them, which can be a bit awkward. And in terms of price, there is a cheaper option or a potential alternative to the Oral-B Junior Smart if you think it's better suited to you and your children. So let me dig down into a little bit more of the detail and tell you what this is actually like to use on a daily basis. Now, as part of that, I need to give you a bit more context on what this toothbrush is. Now, this essentially is an adult's electric toothbrush. Yes, we've got a perhaps more child-friendly design on the brush handle here and on the box. And in fact, this is called the Junior Smart and it's designed for children age 6 and above. But aside from this design and the box, there's nothing here that isn't suitable for an adult or is specific to a child. In fact, as far as I'm aware, the toothbrush that this Junior Smart is based on is the adult's Smart 4000. So in many respects, you can say that this is an Oral-B Smart 4000 disguised as a kid's toothbrush. And for any of you that want the Smart 4000, you could pick this one up because it's actually cheaper than that premium toothbrush. Few box contents difference, but something to bear in mind. Now, another thing to note is that there are a few different brushes in the Oral-B Junior range. There's only one smart toothbrush at the time of recording with Bluetooth, but there's another brush that looks very similar. It's got a Star Wars theme to it, but it doesn't have Bluetooth built in, just to make you aware. So there's a lot of stuff we can talk about this toothbrush. I'm not going to go into everything in great detail. I'm just going to go over the main things that you need to be aware of. So most importantly, it provides a very good clean to the teeth and the gums. This small, round, oscillating, rotating toothbrush is absolutely fantastic. It makes for easy maneuverability around the teeth and to get all the hard to reach areas. We get provided with this Sensi ultra thin brush head, so we've got nice soft bristles here to provide a good cleaning experience. The brush heads are interchangeable. They simply pull off the brush handle like so and slide back on. There's a range of different brush heads that Oral-B actually offer, but kids and adults alike are best off sticking to one of the softer bristled brush heads, generally speaking. So try and stick with this Sensi ultra thin brush head or another sensitive style brush head. The actual blue bristles on here fade over time to give you a warning when it's time to replace the brush head. They'll sort of go to a whitish colour. You should replace it every 3 months on average. The actual body of the toothbrush is nice and comfortable in hand. It's quite slim. It's not the lightest, but it's not the heaviest toothbrush I've used either. We've got a large rubber grip that runs down the front of the handle. Yes, we've got the sort of more child-friendly design on the front of this one. We've got contours around the power button. On the back, this is gloss plastic, but we've got raised plastic ridges which give the fingertips something to grip onto. On the back of the handle here, we've got a pressure sensor. This lights up red when the brush detects that the user is brushing with too much force. Brushing with too much force can damage the teeth and gums. So in the instances where that happens, this red light comes on. The brush will slow down until such time as the pressure is relieved to try and stop doing any unnecessary damage. When you turn this toothbrush on, you'll launch into the standard daily clean mode. You'll also activate the built-in timer and pacer. Now, in a nutshell, that's designed to encourage the user to brush for the recommended 2 minutes. At 30-second intervals, there is a change in the brushing sensation briefly, and that's to alert you to move from one quadrant to another, so you get a nice even clean of the teeth. And then you get that same notification at the end of 2 minutes. Now, the brush does continue to operate. You need to turn it off manually at the end of that 2 minutes. Now, this toothbrush actually has 3 different cleaning modes. So when you power the brush on, you turn it on, you can press it again to move to the next mode, again to move to the next mode after that, and again to turn it off. It would be nice if we had a dedicated separate cleaning mode button. Sadly, we don't. You can only change a cleaning mode once the toothbrush is on. And then when you change a cleaning mode, it's not easy to know which mode you're actually in. There's no visible icons on the handle. There's nothing audible to tell you which mode. You kind of got to learn that based on the sequence the modes are programmed in. So you've got daily clean, sensitive and whitening. Quite frankly, you only need one cleaning mode. Potentially there's some benefits from the other modes, but for most people, one mode is absolutely fine. And particularly for kids, that one mode is fine. So just bear that in mind. You've got multiple modes and it can be a bit tricky to work out which mode you're actually on. What makes this toothbrush smart? Well, it has Bluetooth connectivity built in, and you can use this toothbrush with one of 2 apps that are available from Oral-B. Both are free. You have the standard Oral-B app, which is for Android and iOS, and that's the more adult-like app, which communicates with the toothbrush, provides an on-screen timer, feedback if you're brushing too hard, allows you to customize the toothbrush a bit. There's a lot of information about the app. It's quite extensive. Check out the full written review linked below to find out more about that app. But the kids one in particular is designed to work with their Fun Zone app, which again is free, available for Android and iOS. And it does much the same thing as the adult app, but it's designed to be more child friendly in that as you brush, it uses the front-facing camera of the smartphone to watch you brush. It records a little animation, brings up graphics on screen, so by default you get a jungle theme. The longer you brush, the more frequently you brush, you unlock different features within the app, primarily different themes and stickers, and it's designed to be a little bit more useful to kids to encourage them to brush. You get points to unlock the different levels, and it's just a fun way of interacting and brushing your teeth. Now, because it is Bluetooth enabled, this toothbrush, there is that direct communication, so you can't cheat so much. The app does know if you are actually brushing or not. Now, you don't have to use the app every time. This toothbrush will restore some of the data and send that across next time the smartphone and the toothbrush come into range of each other, so that's quite handy. Perhaps the negatives associated with this is the fact that you kind of have to use the smartphone in front of your face to really see what's going on, and you have to kind of hold that at arm's length out in front of you to see what's going on in screen, and particularly to line the camera up. It'd be nice if maybe there was a smartphone holder included that you could actually put the phone in rather than actually having to stretch out your arm for the full 2 minutes. I'm being a bit picky, but it would be nice to see that included in the box. There's also no travel case included. It's not a deal breaker, but it would be nice that you could put the toothbrush in a case to protect it when traveling, but alas, you don't get it. You can buy those as separate accessories if that is important to you. The brush handle is water resistant, so it'll take a few splashes. You also get a 2-year warranty as standard. So overall, it's a well-built, well-performing electric toothbrush that cleans the teeth really well. Built into the toothbrush here is a rechargeable lithium-ion battery, which if you brush twice a day for 2 minutes each time, should last you for around about 2 weeks, which is perfectly adequate in my mind. It would be nice if it lasted longer, but it's not obviously essential to last much longer than that. It does come provided with a charging stand. It's a 2-pin charging stand, suitable for bathrooms here in the UK. If you don't have a power outlet in your bathroom, you will need to buy a 2-pin to 3-pin adapter to connect it to a standard 3-pin main socket. Works on 220 to 240 volts. So should you be traveling internationally with this toothbrush, you may need to get a different charging stand or invest in both a plug and voltage adapter, particularly if you're going to the likes of the USA. Now, it does take up to 12 hours to charge this fully, and although the estimated battery life is around about 2 weeks, in my actual hands-on testing, I managed around about 3 weeks, which is a positive there. So I can't say everyone will get that because it might be different for me. Maybe I got particularly good battery life, but you're certainly going to get a minimum of 2 weeks from it. And another nice thing is the fact that this battery does actually provide some feedback. So on the front of the brush handle, we've got this battery status icon. Now, in general use, if the power is good, it will shine up or light up green. If the battery power is low, it will flash red. That's your indication to pop it on the charging stand. When it is on the charging stand, it will flash green. So that's your notification that is actually charging. Once the toothbrush is fully charged, the light will go out completely. You can quite happily leave this on the charging stand. The electronics will cut out the charge once it's fully charged, and that light will go out. Also, it's perfectly safe to leave it on there. You can also take it off before the charge is finished and use it if you prefer. So this actually has a recommended retail price of $79.99 here in the UK. Of course, prices are always subject to change. I'm trying to give you the most accurate information at the time of recording. The good news is Oral-B toothbrushes are often quite heavily discounted, and don't be surprised to pick this up for around about £40, which is a very good price considering what you actually get. I would actually say you could command a bit more of a price premium for this brush. But bearing in mind it's aimed for kids, it's designed to be good value, and at £40 it definitely is. When you factor in the cost of replacing brush heads over a 3-year period, this typically works out about 7 pence per day, which is extremely good value, and it's definitely cheaper than the Oral-B Smart 4000 on which this Junior Smart is actually based. So those savvy ones from you would pick up the Junior Smart instead of the Smart 4000. Now, I intimated that there may be potentially different options to consider at the start of the review. Depending on the age of your child, you may want to look at the Philips Sonicare for Kids electric toothbrush that also has Bluetooth, similar sort of battery life and performance. Doesn't have quite the same cleaning modes, and it is a little bit more kid friendly. It's a bit larger, possibly a bit better for younger children. Does also have an app as well, so you may want to weigh that up as a potential alternative. If your child is a little bit older, a little bit more of an independent brusher, and something like the graphic on the brush handle is not going to make too much difference to them, you may also want to consider the Oral-B Pro 2 2500. Now, that doesn't have Bluetooth, but it does have something like a travel case included in the box, so potentially the likes of a travel case could be more beneficial if the kid's going off to a friend's house to stay the night. That way they don't also need to have a smartphone every so often to actually use the Bluetooth features. As a parent, it's going to probably be up to you as which one is better off, but you may save a few quid by going for the Pro 2 2500. That said, this is still superb value for money when you consider what you actually get for it. So to summarise then, as my verdict suggested at the start of this review, this is a really good electric toothbrush when you consider all the features and functions that you get for the price. I mean, most importantly is it's got a small round brush head that cleans the teeth really well. We want to clean the teeth well, and that does just the perfect job. We've got the built-in timer and pacer, which is excellent for encouraging brushing for the dentist recommended 2 minutes. We've got a built-in pressure sensor to stop us doing damage to the teeth and gums, and we've got a solid battery life as well. All made by a reputable brand in a water-resistant brush handle. So the Oral-B Junior Smart does certainly get my vote. If you found this video useful, be sure to give it a thumbs up. For more videos like this, click subscribe. But until next time, thanks for watching.